Well, welcome to this. This is already living up to its title of seriously entertaining. So hopefully it will continue that way. So we have three of the jury members from the entertainment jury here at D&AD to dig into what the jury room was like and to discuss some of the work that may or may not be getting pencils when we find out. So I'm very excited to be joined by Mint here, who is from Sour Bangkok.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
She's ECD there. And we have Marco, who is Global President and Chief Creative Officer for Leo. Also the jury president. And then we've got Matilda, who is Editorial Director at Density Creative. So first of all, to kick things off, we've asked every jury member on stage to select one piece of work that they found particularly interesting from the jury room. And hopefully this will give us an insight into where we are today with branded entertainment in 2025. So to kick off, we're going to see the piece of work that Mint has selected, which is a Thai piece of work, and it's really good fun. So shall we watch that?
เพลงแรกกินอะไรดีอ่ะกินอะไรก็ได้แล้วแต่ตัวเองหรองั้นกะเพราไก่ไข่ดาวไหมตัวเองพูดดีๆกันละนาป่ะนี่พูดจริงปะเนี่ยมัน KFCไม่เอาอ่ะจะกินอะไรอ่ะเขากินอะไรก็ได้แล้วแต่ตัวเองไง
ผมมาเสนอรายการอาหารครับมานำเสนอรายการอาหารครับ
ดีเลยท่านหิวแล้วเร็วๆดิ
ลุงครับครับข้าวซอยลุงอ้วนร้านนี้อร่อยที่สุดแล้วนะ
วันนี้ท่านไม่โปรดฉันไม่โปรด
พี่มานี่กระทะร้อน
จะตายหาอยู่แล้วใครจะไปกินลง
กุ้งเผาอยุธยาเนื้อเน้นๆ
ขี้เกียจ
โจ๊กกองปราบ
จืด
ซูชิวางหลัก
ชูชิ
ซูชิซูชิ
ตัวเองไม่กินหวานไม่เอาหวานอร่อยอ่ะไม่เข้าใจยังไงไม่ยังไงเต้งก็ไม่รู้ใจเขาเลยอ่ะ
ขอเชิญหมายเลข00ที่ช่องบริการ
ลุงครับ
ครับผม
ลุงมาจากร้านอะไรครับ
KFC ครับ
นี่ KFC ท่านไม่กินไง
คือ
ท่านจะกินข้าว
เรารู้ว่าเราโดดเด่นมากเรื่องไก่ทอดแต่เรามีข้าวด้วย เรามีข้าว แล้วเราก็ราดมันด้วย ไก่แซ่บหรือไก่เขียวหวาน และเราเรียกมันว่า ข้าวร้านลุง KFC อิ่ม อร่อย มีรสชาติ
แต่ว่ามันแพงอะ
แค่59 บาท
59
และที่สำคัญ เราติดแอร์เย็นๆด้วย
ตกลงเขากีฬานี้แหละ
ข้าวร้านอยู่ KFC
Wow, the Colonel really saved that guy's life there, right? So, Mint, what did you love about this?
Well, I laugh a lot about it. Like, there's so many elements to laugh about, as you can see from the reaction of the people in the room. I guess, like, when we are in the entertainment category, we are looking for some piece of work that still keep us entertaining. Like, and you can tell this is like an almost 6-minute film, and we are like in a very short span attention world. Somehow people still keep watching this film, like they don't drop off along the way, right? And I think this is so great that it just goes back to the classic pure way of how creative do the storytelling. Like there is no fancy tools or fancy platforms, just like how can like creative individual can come up with a good storytelling that keep people entertained along the films, and I think that it what make this piece of work so great about it. Yeah,
It's incredible. So next, on to Marco's choice. We're going to the world of gaming now, and also the world of sports. So let's check that one out.
Clash of Clans is teaming up with one of the world's most popular footballers.
With over 200 goals, Erling Haaland is one of the top attackers in the world. And not just in football, because off the field, he's been scoring big in Clash of Clans for over a decade.
I was around 10 years old when I first played it.
That's why, in 2024, he became the first real person featured in the game. And his fans went wild.
No way Holland's in Clash of Clans!
Yo, this is sick.
But what about the millions of football fans that actually hate Haaland?
5, another one for Haaland. Fuck me.
Well, we offered them something they'd been wanting for a long time. Revenge. We gave Haaland's haters a chance to get payback by destroying the village he had spent over a decade building. And turned raiding his base and stealing his resources into an official challenge in the game.
The payback time challenge. Payback time. The payback time challenge.
You need to take down Erling Haaland's base.
We advertised it in your stadiums and cities with the most Haaland haters. And ran ads reacting live to Haaland's latest performances on the field. And when Haaland's biggest rival, Manchester United, launched a documentary, we were there to steal the show. Even rival players promoted the challenge. Like the goalkeeper who conceded 9 goals to Haaland in a single match.
Haaland tiene su aldea en Clash of Clans y todos la podemos atacar.
And football legends whose legacy and records Haaland is breaking.
Son mucho mejor que él.
¿Me puede dejar en paz?
Unlike other brands, we didn't just partner with a celebrity to make the most of their fan base. We also made the most of their haters and turned millions of them into Clash of Clans lovers.
Fucking Haaland. This is for Chelsea.
Incredible. Bringing a phone game and arguably the world's biggest football player together. That's quite a big starting point. Just doing that combination. What was really special about that for you, Marco?
So for me on this, can you hear me? Good. For me on this one, there are so many reasons and so many layers of brilliance. As Mint was saying, of course, in entertainment category, at the end, what you need to look for is being entertaining. So create some form of engagement with people. Of course, engagement can be coming from a very well-crafted long form like we saw before. In this case, it comes out from create a level of storytelling. So the creative idea that they made another level of the storytelling in the actual product. Because people were going to play the game following this story. There is a creative idea coming from the agency of let's go and burst Alan us, which is pretty cool as a starting point. And it resonates so much with both audience, because it resonates a lot with the audience of gamers, because that's all the principle of the game, fighting each other and steal each other's stuff. And it resonates a lot with football audience as well, because the 8 you can have for the best scorer in the last year's season, of course, it can be huge. And the way they activated it well, they went around in Europe and really poking teams' fun when they just lost against Alan, and the way they used the social influencer around it made it a bigger story. Of course, you will say it's easy. Of course, they have big endorser, big testimonial. It's not easy. It's not easy to find a good idea like that. It's not easy to find a good idea like that that speaks the language of people. And I think that the big learning on this one is the fact that when you're moving on in our industry, we have so many tools to create engagement and entertainment, and we should try to play them all. Of course, the story is great, the engagement is great, the way you speak with community is great. And the last reason why I think is brilliant is that they use a negative feeling. They use hate, they use anger, which is something that we are always scared to play with. But if it's done brilliantly like that, in a playful and innocent way, it makes all the difference. So for me, it's an amazing piece of work.
Incredible. Okay, Matilda, time for your choice. Let's check it out.
It's just a period.
never gets old.
Not at all.
Why did you choose that?
So Libres or Bodyform in the UK have been running with this platform for quite a bit, if you've seen any previous Bodyform ads. But I love the fact that because they're so committed to educating, it's thinking about, well, how can we do this in the most entertaining, absurd, but empowering way? And the thing I really love about this ad or film, depending on how you look at it, is that they got so much within it. So there's a bit of humor, there's empowerment, so, there's kind of these sober moments. But really, what they're endeavoring to do as a brand, they continue to achieve it. They're entertaining it. They're educating. And if they can do that in an entertaining way, even better.
Yeah. It could have been so po-faced and it just wouldn't have worked.
Right.
So let's talk about the jury room and how it worked. Marco, you were president. How did you kind of frame the discussion around branded entertainment?
So first of all, that we have to establish what it is, brand entertainment. And my point of view, and we started from that, and I think my fellow jurors agrees that we live in a context, we live in a world where there's definitely not a lack of content. People are overwhelmed. I always quote this because I find this crazy, these stats that every day on YouTube, they upload something around 87 years of content, something crazy like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but something close to that. So in a way, every time I'm on stage here, there is a fly around. Yesterday is the same. I don't know if... Maybe I don't wash enough. So the number one criteria for us was to make sure that we selected things that can stand a fight against the huge amount of content people are exposed every day to. That's why the entertainment part is so important. And then there is the branded part, because of course we're not here judging content for the content's sake. We are here judging content at the service of a brand, of a cause, of a mission, or of a message. And those are the two pillars that of course are kind of intuitive, but when you see the work, it's not so easy sometimes to see the boundary. And I think it's pretty clear in the selection that we made. These are amazing piece of work. There's no flawless, there's no discussion whatsoever on any level. But then the real conversation was about, is this real entertainment? Is it just a commercial? Is it maybe a video game is entertaining? Is it just another very beautifully crafted and fun Thai commercial? So that was the conversation that we had, and eventually I think that we try to rationalize as much as possible, but eventually there is a part of gut feeling, and it's the most important thing, because in a way, to be a piece of entertainment, you need to deliver some emotion. You need to connect with people. So you have to make me laugh. You have to make me emotional and meaningful. You need to be completely stupid. There are this kind of human element that needs to be embodied and pushed to the max. That's, for me, the insight. So next year, if you want to submit in this category, ask yourself, is this really entertaining? Is this something that I would go through and watch really outside a jury room or the bubble of my industry? That's for me.
And for the other two of you, how did that kind of shape the discussion? What were some of the big discussions off the back of that, laying down of what we're really looking for here? Lynn, can you think of any? Or?
After Marco guide us from that topic, I think after we say like a lot of nice thing about each entries, we do ask ourselves a lot, like after we watch the piece of work, what do brand get from that? Like, do you actually remember the brand? Do like this piece of work like can engage a broader audience rather than like just advertising audience? I think that is what impact the discussion in the room most.
Yeah, and for me, I kept circling back to the description of the category, which is work that you would watch, seek out, and share. And so while there was a lot of discussion around work that, from a craft standpoint, was hitting it, am I going to share it? Am I going to watch it on my own accord? Or is it just something that kind of works in this space? So I think shareability is quite key, given the fact that 87 years of content really need to stand out, and also you need to be able to engage people for such a long time, as well as tell all your friends about it. I think that's really important.
Absolutely, and that feeds into my next question, really, which is about the platforms where this entertainment lives. obviously that's always changing. Marco, you mentioned YouTube. Of course, we're well into the age of where everything lives on YouTube eventually. But, you know, the broader entertainment industry has been changing a hell of a lot with the streamers coming to dominate things and all sorts of shake-ups in Hollywood and whatnot. Does any of that kind of impact on the stuff that brands do to be entertaining and how it's kind of showing up? Did you see any of that in the jury room?
Well, I think with Never Just a Period, I get the impression that they were thinking social first, because from what I've heard, the creative team, they came up with almost like 100 assets off the back of it. It is a truly integrated campaign. And so seeing, say, like the jelly on its own, you know, on Instagram, automatically that would engage. And it just means that it's a much harder and smarter piece of work. So I definitely think with that piece of work, they were thinking social, you know, getting it amongst many eyeballs as possible across all the platforms.
That's an interesting point, because we often rail against an ad getting chopped up and just put on social media, right? But when a film like that is designed with so many little vignettes and things that stand on their own, then it can really work in social platforms. So
exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah, I kind of think it's fascinating. What kind of work were you seeing beyond, you know, branded content that we were seeing like 10 years ago? Just sort of longer form film stuff. Were there interestingly shaped things in the mix there that were like for social first or for a platform that didn't exist until quite recently?
Sorry, what's the question?
Were there anything, I mean, either of you, if you want to come in with anything that was...
No, we're talking about, we had a lot of conversation, of course, about that. I think that the thing that really changed, and we never have to forget about that, is that the audience is changing. We are collectively changing. I don't know how many of you can go through all this talk without looking at your phone. I'm struggling. I am kind of itchy. And that's something that is completely changed the way we do it. Well, I'm old enough to remember when I started this job, and I'm way older than you, when I started this job, there was just TVC commercial. So, of course, the entertainment was created to say, we feel a bit constrained by this. Yeah, we want to create something that goes beyond that. Today, the reality is that kids, but not even kids, even people of my age, we lost the capacity of focus on content. That's why it's so important, especially as an industry message as well, and I insist on this. Don't think that just making something long means that you're doing something great, and don't think that just making something long makes it eligible for this category. It's almost the opposite. It needs to be truly exceptional today, because before people were seeking for content. Now people are escaping from content and running away. And the competition, I insist on that because we forget about it. It's so tough. You're competing with Netflix. You compete with babies'
TikTok.
video.
TikTok.
Cats. TikTok. I mean, it's tough competition.
Yeah.
And Thai are great, amazing to do, very long format. They're so engaging that no matter the age, no matter the, you want to go through it.
You make a good point, because if you look at those three pieces of work, actually, you know, yours were kind of really beautifully crafted, long-form bits of film that anyone would be happy to watch and wouldn't feel like their attention is, you know, they're ready to hit scroll. Whereas yours, the Clash of Clans work, that lives on places like TikTok. It's not even really a piece of content, right? It's an invitation for content.
It's a story.
Yeah.
It's a bigger story, but doesn't exist in a specific format, but it exists in a shared experience, because when you put yourself together with your friends to go and destroy Island Village, there is a story there, you know, there is an entertainment moment.
So I guess with that in mind, if you're going to make something long, it better be good.
And make it shorter anyway. In case, takes 30% off and it's okay, I promise you. 40% off.
Were there any other big discussions in the room? Any things that kept coming up and you kept going, not this again? Or
Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
Please say something about Pedro Pascal. Please. Go for it.
Yeah, we do discuss a lot about like the use of talent. Like, is he just another celebrity? Like, or does he bring the value to the content and everything? Yeah.
Does he dance
and
well?
And Marco dance a lot. like Pedro in the room.
So does he dance well?
I will not do that
Dancer.
with cameras.
Yeah. Like we discuss about like, does he like the man of the moment that keeps like without him, do we still entertained by the piece of work? I think that's the question that we ask ourselves, because Apple do this piece with celebrity each year, but I think like choosing the Pedro make this piece even more special. So we discuss about that a lot.
And my final...
You're gone.
My final question is hopefully one that you all want answered. If you're working on things that you might want to next year and be on the screen and taking home pencils.
Pencils?
Yeah, thanks. Just so what should people be thinking about if they want to make work which is seriously entertaining, which is going to be doing really well in this category next year at D&AD? And what shouldn't they do? Do you want to go, Matilda?
Do enter the right subcategory. That came up quite a bit in the judging room, just making sure that, for instance, integration is truly integration, user participation is just that, because when it gets to the wire, we do start to nitpick as far as, is this a true sense of what it's endeavoring to be beyond the craft? But I think in the case of my favorite, just insight, just making sure that you're getting, whether it's that qualitative data, anecdotal, of which a lot really went into that, and I would encourage you guys to read into the case study of it. Just make sure that it's something that can really hold your work together, because that's what it'll really come down to. Does this really honor the insight that you've discovered, and is it bringing it to life in a new, fresh, unique way?
No, to me, of course, what we said so far, being able to compete with the biggest piece of entertainment in the world and people attention, is these minutes of people's life that I'm stealing work for some kind of reason. But most of all, for me, the thing that you need to do is to look at the work not like it's your baby, but like it's your enemy. You need to look at the work and be very critical, because I promise you, if there is a critic to be made, it will be made in the jury room. So try to have that perspective and try to understand if you're really ticking all the boxes and if there's something you can do to improve it. Because the level, guys, I'm sure you saw the shortlist, but when you will see the pencils, the level of the winning work is completely crazy. Outstanding, in my opinion. And that's the beauty of D&AD.
I think to add on from what you guys mentioned, I think there can be many like touch point in a campaign, like when you enter entertainment. So I think like keep every touch point entertained, because we've seen a lot of entries that just put something in the campaign and then that material is not entertaining enough. So then it may bring the entries down a bit. Yeah, so just strict to like what entertained in the campaign and then just put it there. Yeah.
19, 18, 17.
We just count
we have
down.
15 seconds to go.
Entertaining enough for you all? I think it was pretty entertaining for me, so thank you very much to you
Thank
three.
you.
And look forward to seeing the pencils.